Now what happens when function is called? I am talking about a normal function. When the function is called, we will be sending few arguments there. When the arguments are sent, along with that the flow of control is also transferred to the called function. The body of the function, you will have certain task inside the body of the function. Once the task is over, we will come back to the original calling function. So this is the time lapse we are having. So this time can be saved if you apply inline function concept to the function. But you should be very careful. You cannot apply inline function every time. When the function code is very, very small, you can apply the concept of inline function. When your priority is speed and time, you are supposed to apply the concept of inline function. So what is inline function? So inline function is a short function, but the compiler replaces the function call with the body of the function. So whenever you will see the function call, the body of the function is going to be replaced here. So you are not wasting time by going there and coming back. So that is lagging in the normal function. So this lagging can be overcome if you apply the concept of inline function. In other time, inline function is also called as, it is expanded inline when it is called. But how do you make one function as an inline function? Specifically, if you would like to make one function as an inline function, you are supposed to use a keyword called as inline before the function definition. So this is the syntax to define the inline function. If you don't use inline, it is just an ordinary function definition. You can see return type specifier, function name, argument list inside the parenthesis, and you will have body of the function. Before that, I am going to use a special keyword called as inline. By mentioning this, we are requesting the compiler to make this function as an inline function. Compiler may accept or may reject. We are going to see when the inline function request will be rejected or when it will not work. Now we understood what is inline function and what is the importance and what is the need of the inline function. Now let us see what are the different advantages of inline function. As I said, speed is your priority. You are supposed to use the inline function because inline functions are short and compact function. These are very simple, very short and compact. As the functions are very compact, the object code we are going to generate is considered as very, very small. And one more advantage here, the speed of the execution of the program is also increases. As I said, you are not transferring the flow of control to the called function and coming back. That's why we are enhancing the speed of the program execution. Speed of the execution of the program increases. And fourth point is code generated will be very, very efficient. As I said, when you increase the speed of the program, automatically the efficiency of the program or efficiency of the code is also increases. And last part is the readability of the program also increases because we are dividing the program into smaller units called as functions, and we are making these functions as inline function. With the help of that, the readability of the program increases because these functions are very, very compact functions calls. Now what are the disadvantages of the function call? As body of the function is substituted in the place of function call, the overall executable size of the file will be increases. So this is one of the disadvantages of the inline function. Next disadvantage of inline function is as executable size increases, we need more memory. So these are the different disadvantages of the inline function. Now let us see one programming example to illustrate this particular concept. We have included header files here, hash include iostream.h, hash include konya.h and hash include iomanip.h. After that, I am going to define a short function or compact function that I am going to calculate square of a variable, square of a given argument. So that is going to calculate square. I am going to enter or I am going to pass an integer argument. When integer argument is squared, definitely we will have a return integer variable. So I am going to define that particular function int square, inside bracket I am specifying the argument integer a. But before that I have used a special keyword called as inline, right. Next I will write the body of the function here. As per square is concerned, it is nothing but a into a, so I am returning that. So return a into a. So this is the inline function. So this body of the inline function is going to be substituted when the function is called in the main program or in other functions, right. For example, in the main function you are calling this particular function many times, and in case if it is not inline, function, you are wasting much of time by transferring the flow of control from here to there and there to here. That is why we make this particular function as inline function, because we are calling this particular function many number of times in the main program. Let us see that. So inside void main, I am declaring two variables here, integer variables x and y. So two simple variables that will receive the square of any given argument value. X will receive one return value and y also is going to return have one return value. So these two are the ordinary variables declared in void main part. See here, to the variable x I am getting the value. How I am getting the value? I am calling the function called as square. When this function is called, I am sending one argument. So what is the value of argument here? That is integer value 5. If it is a normal function, you are supposed to transfer the flow of control, but it is an inline function. What happens here? The particular body of the function will be substituted here. Then you will see the output square of 5 is equal to whatever the value which is received by x, 25 maybe. I am calling the same function again here, but now I am assigning the value to one more variable called as y. So y is equal to square of 10. So when it is returned to the variable called as y, that value I am going to print here, square of 10 is equal to y. When 10 is sent to that particular function as an argument, you will have a return of value that is 100, because 10 into 10 is equal to 100. Let us see the output, right. See, first let me call this particular function square of 5, and that value has to be copied to the variable called as x. So I am calling this function. So when this particular function is called, as I said, it is an inline function. You are calling the inline function. The body of the function, so this is a body, this is containing the body of the function. So this body of the function is going to be substituted here. So you are not wasting your time. You are substituting the body of the function here. That is nothing but inline function. So 5 is sent, 5 is used here. So that will return a value 5 into 5. In the place of x, in the place of variable x, you will get the value that is 25. Then you will print square of 5 is equal to x, that is nothing but 25. Let me call the same function again, y is equal to square of 10. The same function is called. Again I am not transferring the flow of control to the called function. What I am doing? I am substituting the same body of the function in the place of function call. In the place of square of 10, I am substituting the body of the function that returns a value a into a. Here in this case it is 10 into 10. The answer is 100, that is copied to the variable called as y. Now the value of y is equal to 100. Then you will print square of 10 is equal to y. That means square of 10 is equal to 100. So this is how inline function works. It is a simple program to illustrate the concept of inline function. Now let us see what are the limitations of inline function. Like as I said, as per inline function is concerned, you are requesting the compiler to make your function as inline function. That particular request can be accepted or can be rejected sometimes. When it is going to be rejected, or what are the limitations of function? When the inline function may not work. The inline function may not work sometimes, maybe because of following circumstances or maybe following reasons. The first point here is, if the inline function definition is too long or too complicated. As I said, as per inline function is concerned, it should be too short. It should be compact function call. If it is too lengthy or if it is having complicated things in it, inline function may not work. The second point here it is, if the inline function is a recursive function. So whatever the function you are using, that is a recursive function. So what is recursive function here? the function which is called by itself, as you know. That's why in case if your function is a recursive function, you cannot make it as an inline function. That is one more restriction or one more limitation. The third point here is, if your inline function is containing any looping statements such as while loop, do while loop, for loops. In case if you are having looping statements, the inline function may not work, may work or may not work. The last point is, if the inline function has any switch or go to statements, the kind of jumping statements. If it is containing switch or go to statements, the inline functions may not work. So these are the limitations of inline function. The next concept is friend function. To understand this particular concept, friend function, I will give you a few live examples. For example, there is a government public library. Who can access government public library? Anybody can access. There is no restriction on that. But there will be a library under a particular college. So here there are some restrictions. Only students under that particular college, enrolled under that particular college, can use that college library by having a college ID. Now it is private, this particular library is private. The college library will be private, whereas the public library will be public. Anybody can use it. Similarly, inside class we will have three access specifiers: private, public and protected. Any members defined under public section can be accessed by anyone, can be accessed by anywhere, can be accessed anywhere. But whereas private and protected is concerned, you have a restriction. You cannot access it anywhere. There is a restriction. As per private is concerned, you are accessing only inside the class. It can be accessed by the member functions belonging to that particular class. As per protected is concerned, it will be accessed inside the class as well as it will be accessed by the derived class. But this private and protected members cannot be accessed outside. In case if you need to access, you need to make function as a friend function. If any function is made as friend function, then that function can access private and protected members of a class. And what is friend function? So friend function is a non-member function of a class that has access to both private and protected access members. So this is the syntax to declare and define the friend function. The friend function will be declared anywhere inside the class. It is not restricted by any access specifier here. It can be declared in private section, it can be declared in public section, it can be declared in protected section, but you must declare it inside the class. When you are declaring, you must use a special keyword called as friend before the function definition, function declaration. So it will be like friend, return type specifier, function name followed by argument list, semicolon. So this is nothing but declaration. When the function is declared, when the friend function is declared, you are supposed to use a special keyword called as friend. But where do you define that particular function? You are not going to define inside the class. If you define inside the class, that becomes a member function. I am talking about non-member function. You are supposed to define outside the class. When you are defining the non-member function or friend function outside the class, you are not supposed to use any keyword called as friend. You don't even use scope resolution operator here. You don't need class name here. Right? It will be defined like an ordinary function. And whenever you are calling this particular function, friend function, you are calling directly. In case if it is a member function, you are supposed to call by following this method. You are supposed to use object name followed by member operator followed by function name. But this is not a member function, it is a non-member function. That is why this function will be called directly like a normal function. And when you are accessing the members, you can access the members in the friend function. When you are accessing the members, you cannot access it directly. Data members, I am talking about data members. You cannot access it directly. When you are accessing the data members inside the friend function definition, by that time you are supposed to use object name and member operator followed by that particular data member. Now we know what is friend function. Now let us see what are the different characteristics of the friend function. A friend function, although not a member function, has full access rights to private and protected members of the class. That is the first characteristic of the friend function. What is the second characteristic? A friend function cannot be called using object of the class. Then how it is called? It is invoked like a normal function. How the normal function is invoked? By just specifying the function name. If you have any argument, you mention that. So it is not called using object of the class. It is called like a normal function. So what is the third characteristics? They are the normal function that are given special privilege access rights. This is the third characteristic of the function. The fourth characteristic is it cannot access the member variables directly. It has to use a method. What is the method? You are supposed to use object name followed by member operator dot followed by the member variable name. And last characteristic is the function is declared using the keyword called as friend, as I said in the previous slide. It is declared with the keyword friend, but while defining friend function, it does not use either keyword friend or any scope resolution operator. So these are the different characteristics of the friend function. Now let us have one programming example for this. I will be including a few header files here. Hash include iostream.h, hash include iomanip.h and hash include kone.h. Now let me create a class here. So name of the class I am taking it as my class. So class my class. Inside this I will have a private section. In private section I will declare two variables, integer variables a and b. I will have a declaration int a comma b. So these private variables I am going to use in the friend function. Now let us see how to use it. Now in the public section I am declaring one member function. Now it is a member function. So it will be declared like this: void return type specifier is void followed by set value, because I am going to get the value for a and b. And when this function is called, I am receiving two arguments. So that is why I am supposed to declare two formal arguments here, I and j here. So both the variables are integer, that is why declaration is like this: int I and int j. Semicolon. This is just a declaration. I am going to define it outside the class. Next I am going to declare a friend function here, because I am going to calculate the sum of these two values a and b. So how do I declare the friend function? I am supposed to use a keyword called as friend. Return type specifier is int, because a plus b I am going to calculate a plus b. So both are integers. Return type is also integer. So return type specifier is integer int. Name of the function I will take it as add. And what is the argument I am having here? I am supposed to declare one object, because in the body of the friend function I am supposed to access a and b. As I said, these are not accessed directly. You are supposed to use an object. That is why I need an object as an argument. So in the field of formal argument I have declared one object belonging to the class my class. Name of the object is obj. This is nothing but declaration of friend function. So friend function will be declared like this. Now let me have the definition of each function. First let me define the member function, that is set value. How the member function is defined outside the class? You are supposed to use class name and scope resolution operator. It will be defined like this. You will write return type specifier void followed by class name is my class. You will use scope resolution operator, 4 dots followed by name of the function, that is set underscore val. And I will have two arguments, formal arguments I and j, both are of integer type. It must be declared separately, int I comma int j. So whenever this function is called, you are passing two arguments. Those two argument values will be copied to I and j. In turn, these I and j has to be copied to a and b. That is how I am going to take the values for a and b. That is why body of this particular function containing a is equal to I, b is equal to j. A will receive the value which is there in the formal argument, that is I. B will receive the value which is there in the formal argument, that is j. So a is equal to I and b is equal to j. I am getting the value for these two private variables a and b. Now let me define the function, friend function, that is add. As I said, definition of friend function, you are not supposed to use any keyword, and you are not supposed to use a scope resolution operator as well. It is defined like a normal function. How do you define it? Right, integer, return type specifier is integer, followed by the function name is add. You are supposed to send an argument, that should be an object. So that has to be declared here, my class followed by obj. Obj is the name of the object. Through this object, I am supposed to access A and B. So what you are going to return here from this friend function, you will access A and B. So data members are not accessed directly, we seen in the characteristic as well. So I write obj.a and plus obj.b. In case A value is 50 and the B value is equal to 50, 50 plus 50, 100, that value will be returned to the calling function. So this is how we define the friend function. It is defined like an ordinary function and it will be called like an ordinary function. But this function has access rights to private and protected members. In this programming example, I have not considered any protected part, I considered the private part. So under private section, I have two variables A and B. Those are accessed inside the function, friend function, but it cannot be accessed directly. I am supposed to use member operator in between. I must use object name followed by member operator followed by member, obj.a and obj.b. So these two values are added and returned. Now let me call these functions. So how do we call the function? We write main part, void main. Then we will declare an object here belonging to the class my class. So how do you create an object? Class followed by object name. So my class is the class name, my class followed by object. So using this object, you can call the member function. The function name is set value, but you cannot call the friend function using this object. Now first function is called using this object, object.setValue 34 and 56. So these two values are passed to the member function. 34 and 56 will be assigned to the variables A and B, private variables A and B. And after that, I will call the friend function add, and whatever the value I am returning, I am going to display. So statement will be like this, sum of 34 and 56, because I am sending argument, these arguments are 34 and 56. So sum of 34 and 56 is equal to dash. So what is that answer? That will be returned by the calling function, called function. So what is the function here? We are calling a friend function. We are calling the friend function, name of the function is add. Now look at this function call. You are not using any object here. It is not called like object.add. It is called like a normal function, add followed by an argument. So what is the argument I am supposed to get? I am supposed to get an object. So what is the object I am having? The name of the object itself is object. That particular object or argument I am sending to the friend function. Now let us see how it works. So when this function is called, I am sending an object. With the object I have the values A and B, that is 34 and 56. That argument or that object is sent to the friend function add. Then I will access A and B, 34 and 56. These are not accessed directly, these are accessed using the object. So what is the object here? Obj. So obj.a in the sense that 34. What is obj.b? 56. 34 plus 56 may be 90, that value I am going to return. So in the form of output, I will see sum of 34 and 56 is equal to 90. So this is how friend function works. Now you are able to answer these questions. We are able to answer what is function overloading. We know what is function overloading and what are the needs of the function overloading. We know what are the advantages and restrictions on the function overloading. Then we understood what is inline function along with the programming example. We have seen what are the advantages and disadvantages of the inline function. We understood what is friend function and what is the syntax of it and what is the programming example corresponding to the friend function. We also know what are the different characteristics of the friend function. So these are the set of questions you could see in the final examinations. And finally, thank you. Thank you very much.